Board of Trustees regular board meetings scheduled for today, June 20th, 2006 at 5:30 at the Administration Building. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas is one and indivisible.
Peter, you'll be here today? Yes. Roll call. Everyone's present for today's or this evening's meeting. We move on to item 5. Recommend approving the agenda of the regular board meeting of June 20th, 2006 with any corrections.
Mr. President.
I'll call. Yes, sir.
Under conference presentation, items A1, page 3 will be replaced with the student director information objection form. Mr. Saldana had previewed this, and it's in front of you. And on the closed meeting, item A35 will not be addressed in tonight's meeting.
35 is being pulled.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Munoz, you had a comment?
Yes, Mr. President. I'd like to consider moving or combining items 18 and 22, discussing and acting on. Arguments are the same for both of them.
Counselor, can we do that? Since they're related? One's under E and one's under F. One's a qualification, the other one's a proposal.
You're going to need two separate motions. If you want to put them together for sakes of discussion, you can do that, but you're still going to need two separate motions.
Okay. You want to discuss them both?
We can vote on them separately, but same argument for both of them.
You want to take them up same?
Yes, sir.
Then we'll vote on them separate. Okay.
Well, there's a motion by Mr. Munoz to combine those, although they will be read as separate motions. And is there a second?
Okay. There's a motion and a second to combine those two items. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Raise your hand. Okay, we'll combine those two items. Okay, move on to, and Ms. Galvan, you have?
Mr. President, I'd like to move to change the order of the day. I'd like agenda item number 38 to be moved to the first order of business after the presentations.
To follow Roman numeral 7.3, A3?
Yes, A3.
Yes, sir.
Okay. There's a motion to change the order of the day. All those in favor signify, or this is a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second to change the order of the day, moving item 38 right after A3. All those in favor signify by raising your hand saying aye. 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 Motion carries. All righty. Then approving the recommended approving the June 20th, 2006 meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion and second to approve tonight's meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, move on to Roman numeral 6. Recommend approving the minutes of the regular board meeting of June 13th, 2006 with any corrections. Dr. Salkowski. Or any other comments?
No minutes.
Putting pressure on you. Mr. Munoz, you okay? Fine. Okay, is there a motion to accept or approve? Motion to approve in a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Raise your hand. Motion carries unanimous. Move on to item 7, Superintendent's Report A, Conference Presentation. Number 1, presentation on the Student Code of Conduct for 2006 and 2007 school year. Dr. Salkowski.
Mr. President, we put together our Student Code of Conduct, which is really just a section of our student handbook, and I've asked Ms. Sylvia Pettis, who's been working, to make just a couple of comments on just some of the changes in the book. Ms. Pettis.
Mr. President, members of the board, Dr. Zolkowski, included in your board packet was a draft copy of the Student Code of Conduct for 2006-2007. Yearly, we issue a copy of the Student Code of Conduct to every student, so it is a very important document. We do follow the TASB model, and this year being a non-legislative year, Chapter 37 was not changed by the recent legislative session. As per TASB, last year's Student Code of Conduct remains current. Minor updates have been added to the document, mostly for clarification purposes. For your convenience, we did provide a copy and underline the few changes that we had. As we look at the changes, we look at page lowercase I, non-discrimination section. It alludes to Section 504, Title 9, Administrator for Employee Concerns, is Mr. Johnny Bineda. Section 504, Title 9, Dyslexia Administrator for Student Concerns, is Mr. Leroy Corkill. In addition, there was a form that was issued to you with regards to the Student Directory Information Objection Form. This particular form was worked on by Mr. Saldana, and in essence, it's an opportunity for parents to object, to release one or more of the following categories that are listed in your form there, because directory information is public, but if parents object, this is the form that is new, improved, and we hope that parents will respond very positively to it. The other issue is found on page 6, addressing student concerns, complaints, and grievances. And this section addresses a recommended informal process to discuss concerns and complaints. Concerns and complaints should be dealt with at the lowest level possible. In addition, this section informs parents and students that there is a formal process when a complaint is not resolved. And the district does have standards and does have policies, and alludes to policy FNG local and FNG exhibit. This concludes my brief presentation.
Any comments from the board members? Dr. Solkowski, comments?
No, the handbooks and the handbooks that are going to be part of the big picture of the student code of conduct, we needed to get it into the handbooks to get it printed. That's why you're approving that tonight. It had very few changes from last year.
Comments? Thank you, Ms. Pettis.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Move on to item 2, presentation of the Brownsville Independent School District's financial report for the period ended April 30th, 2006. Dr. Solkowski.
We're more than happy to answer any questions. We're in good financial shape.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes, I had a couple of questions. On page 19, I'm curious as to why state revenues are lagging behind. We're at, this is for the 10-month period, 10 of 12 months, we're 83% time-wise. And on page 19, state revenues indicate we've only received 68% of anticipated revenues.
Mr. Sanchez.
Mr. Lehman, Dr. Z, board members. Mr. Munoz, the state has a plan where in a particular class payment, and we receive fixed dollar amounts each month, irrespective of whether we're 10 months into the year. The first month we get about 25%, then it goes down to a different percentage. The month of April and the month of August, we receive no money. So by just looking at the percentage, you would think that it doesn't match up with the time period. But that's a state law. We can't change how we receive our funding.
So it has nothing to do with requesting it?
Absolutely not.
Okay, I was curious to why the lag. On the same page, on page 19, had a question on supplies and materials. It looks like we've only expended right under 40% for supplies and materials. We budgeted $22.7 million. We've only spent to date $9 million. So at this rate, if we look at the rate that we've been spending it, we should have something on the order of $11 million left over. My question is, if we needed it, why didn't we get it to the classrooms early?
Sanchez.
Board members, you need to understand that the first column is budget. Your second column, actual to date, is basically actual cash payments that have gone out. We have $35 million right now in encumbrances that you do not see here. And we're at the point where we're trying to cancel as many POs as we can. If we haven't received the merchandise, our campuses and our departments know that if we haven't received the merchandise by the end of the month, those POs will be purchased. So it does not reflect a true expenditure report because we do have the encumbrance. So if we added the encumbrance, those percentages on that column would have changed. So this is purely a cash column that you see there. And encumbrance means we have set the money aside for a future expenditure.
Well, at 40% at this stage of the game, even if they were encumbrances that hadn't hit the books yet, it seems like we're probably a little bit
And
slow.
A little bit.
if I may, you remember also not too long ago we approved from State Comp about $11 million that we went out and spent. Well, all of that is still in the pike. It has not filtered through yet.
Okay. Well, we get a lot of board members. We get complaints from the classrooms that supplies are slow in coming, and then we see this, and we have to ask these questions when we see this. It adds fire to the smoke, or vice versa.
Mr. Munoz, I have not received one call in 3 years concerning supplies for the classroom. So if it's really an issue, no one has told me. And my emphasis to the principals has always been, you need to spend your money early, especially your federal funds. And I mean, that message is delivered over and over and over again.
And we've said over and over that we expect the money to be utilized, and certainly there may be filters between you and the field. Anyway, that's it.
Mr. Aguilar?
Dr. Z, it is correct. They might not call you, but they call the board members. But I don't blame, I'm not going to put a fingers in anyone, because I know that you give the budget and how much they need to spend early in the year. So just to tell my colleagues, the principals know how much money they have the first day of school and how much they're going to spend. So if they don't spend it, what else can the central administration do but just tell them, spend it, guys, spend it. And I guarantee you that come February, there were a lot of schools that had large sums of money in their campus. So what happens? The teacher says, where's the money? I need this. We don't have any money. So something happens in the campus, Dr. Z, with this principal. Now, I'm not saying all of them. There's some of them, you see, that they don't spend that money. And they say there's no money. Yes, there's money, except they need to spend it, like Mr. Sanchez is saying. But these guys in the principalships, they have the money right now, and how much they're going to spend.
Correct.
I just want to
make that up.
I just want to add that I have a feeling that in getting feedback, you might not, or administration might directly, the CFO might not get the direct calls, but once in a while, board members do get calls, and I know for a fact that the administration has, through the area superintendents, send out to the campuses to hold back 20%, and you cannot deny that. Is that true? I mean, I would say that that's a correct statement. To hoard 20% of whatever budgets are allocated to the campus level, and I don't know if that would be just general fund or categorical, but a categorical funding, it's I don't think you can do that. But I know my wife's a professional in this district, and she couldn't get certain things purchased. The mere fact that we haven't been paying our bills, so that's where you and I got into a discussion. That yes, we do get calls. So. And for the sake of bringing this forward, we don't want administration to be retaliatory in any way. I think the teachers, for any custodians, whatever it may be, I mean, there been talk that, or information coming back that the essential tissue paper in the bathrooms have not been purchased because of cutting back of funding. So I hope this is not true, and I would pass it on to Dr. Salkowski.
Mr. Sanchez, you want to address those two issues?
Basically, when we give their budgets, they do know now, because it's the third year, that sometime at the end of April is when we begin our cutoffs. And so again, it goes back to the same argument that Mr. Munoz just made. We're urging everyone, well, why do you wait till April? And so to say that we're telling everyone ahead of time that 20% is going to be reserved is not so. So we urge them to spend their budgets. They do have Function 51 that's allocated to the campuses for the very same thing that you talked about. And, it's up to the campus administration to be able to manage those funds. So we have people who have run out of Function 51, which is the item that you were talking about, who have asked us for help, and we have provided them help. So I don't think that that administration is saying, no, you're not going to be able to spend that money for the things that you need. We don't do that. It goes back again, the emphasis, and even when we started our budgets this year, the same emphasis has been placed on these budgets. You need to spend the money early and spend it wisely and get the things done. I question other items that why do we wait on spending our tutorial monies, for example, so late in the year? We already know, we have identified the students. We need to start spending our monies day one when school starts. So it's not because I'm the gatekeeper and I'm holding on to that gate. On some issues I do, but not when it comes to instruction and the help that they need at that campus. So I that is my statement.
So what about the 20%?
No,
They
sir.
had
Okay.
full account.
It is my understanding that that's happened. The only thing that I would like is maybe get a questionnaire out there from the board, maybe to get feedback from the individual teachers and staff as to, I guess, conditions at the classroom or at the campus level. But that would be the only thing that I would think of. Mr. Aguilar?
You mentioned something about totally teachers, There's no excuse for that, really, Dr. Z, Mr. Lehman, because even if you did not have funds, all you need to do is pick up the phone and call your area superintendent. I just ran out of funds and I still need, school is not out, but we still need restroom supplies. They'll send it to you because all those supplies are right here behind us
We can send
in the warehouse. So those are not denied, even though you don't have money. I can tell you that by personal experience, sir. So actually, all you need to do is pick up the phone and call the principal. The central office. It's because you do run out of monies because we're trying to budget different functions. But when that happens, tell the teacher there's no excuse. All you need to do is pick up the phone and say, "We don't have the money. Can you help us?"
Well, like I said, I'd like to see a questionnaire go out from this board. I guess it'd be fun to find out what the feedback is, and I think that would kill
We'll find out.
And you know what? Also,
the rumors.
to include also site-based decision-making process.
Yeah.
How many campuses really are run by site-based committees? You say everybody's on papers. Yes, we do. How many of those campuses are really practicing?
Oh man, you're gonna get me started.
And so, if you're going to do a survey, might as well do it. Do it all the way.
We can be discussing all this all night just by teachers, not allowing the staff to principals to get their own teachers, but.
I was going to bring out site-based also, site-based budgeting. Also, the urgency that our students are not missing out. And I'd like to see more of an urgency. Like the survey, quickly, so we could know.
Most of the teachers are going.
Yeah, teachers are going.
It goes in the fall.
Additional comments on this side? Okay, any more comments? Dr. C, you want any comments or?
No,
Close up?
I believe our teachers do have enough supplies. We spent over $12 million extra money this year on technology. We spent another $1 million on fine arts. We spent another $2 million extra on libraries beside the regular money we appropriated. So I feel like everybody had, I think there's times of ordering. People could order maybe a little earlier, would be helpful. But hopefully they've addressed those goals on that campus, the site-based management. But I feel that it was a pretty good year because we added a lot of extra money.
I hope it was at the campus level. Brother, this is the last month of our budget, our fiscal year.
Mr. Sanchez?
Okay, so what is our fund balance? Snickers.
You won't get a number.
What are you going to publish next month in the paper?
Mr.
90 million?
Sanchez?
It's already published in the paper. If you notice the public
Just want
notice.
they can't notice. I want the public to notice.
The public, we published the notice, an estimated fund balance of about 90 million. That's
90
the
million,
notice, so we can have a public hearing for adopting the budget.
It's a good number, right?
Fair number.
Okay, fair number.
Accountants only present fair information.
Okay. All righty. Additional comments? Oh, and food service, we got that straightened out, right, on the transfer?
Yes, sir.
And what's their fund balance now?
Sanchez?
Approximately about 7 million.
7 million, wow, okay, great. Then we'll move on, no further comments, we'll move on to item 3, presentation of the notification of betterment fund change orders and contract change orders. Dr. Salkowski.
These change orders are basically on the gyms, Hannah, Porter, and Pace, and I want to tell you that we did real good. We have some money coming back. These are both positive change orders.
Any comments? All righty. Yes. Oh, okay, Mr. Munoz?
I have one question on the seal coat. This shows us getting a credit for $7,388 for the seal coat on the parking lot at Porter. Is that the price that was in the contract? That's the same? All of it back? Okay, good. Thank you.
Additional comments? Okay, thank you. Now we'll move on to take item 38. And that'll be on closed meeting. We'll take up item 38 as pursuant to the Texas Government Code, sections 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, 551.082, and 551.084. Board goes into executive session, closed meeting. And no action will be taken on item 38. Okay. Go on to item B, standing board agenda items for board calendar. Dr. Salkowski.
Just a couple things that we have. I'd like to remind the board that on Thursday we have 2 meetings, one at 4:30 for insurance. Mr. Powers has called an insurance committee meeting, and at 5:30 we have another budget meeting. On the 27th, we have a special call board meeting, and that meeting will include adoption of our budget because our new budget starts July 1st, so the salaries will be adopted and so forth. And we have several tax tests. In July, our offices actually are closed 3 through 7. On the 18th, we have a regular board meeting. That's basically all we have during summer.
Any comments from the board members? Okay, thank you. We now move on to item 8, public audience. The next item on our agenda is the public comment period. This is the time for citizens, staff, or students to provide their comments to the board. Statements and questions from the audience will not be permitted during other portions of the meeting, so please let us hear from you now if you have comments to present. To have your comments heard tonight, your name and the subject matter of your comments must appear on the sign-in sheet, which is located at the rear of the meeting room. Each speaker will be limited to 5 minutes. To complete his or her comments, with all due courtesy, I will strictly enforce that time limit. If a group of people want to be heard on the same topic, the board asks that they designate a spokesperson to avoid needless repetition. The board has adopted rules to preclude the abuse of open forum by, for example, anyone uselessly repeating the same comment or complaint meeting after meeting. All participants must understand that if your comment, in my judgment, constitutes a complaint against an employee or an officer, I will interrupt and ask you to stop and direct you to proceed with the BISD's formal grievance procedures, be that of DGBA, FNG, or GF local, or for our local policy. With those cautions in mind, we will now be glad to hear the general comments.
Mr. Lehman?
Yes, sir.
There is a sign-up this evening by Mr. John Shergill that, in my opinion, constitutes a complaint against an employee. I've spoken with Pete here, and he's been listed to be put on executive session for the next meeting as per BED local.
Well, let me do this. Okay, who is that person?
Mr. Shergill, right here.
He is, okay.
He's indicated that it's a complaint against an officer.
I don't see Mr. Shergill here.
Well, Ms. Deborah Hernandez. Then.
That's what
He's
I'm
his
asking. Okay, let me
representative.
take her up on just a second, and then we can formally take her up. Noted on that. We'll take the first one, Gabriela Moreno, Adult Continued Education. Go ahead.
Good evening, Dr. Solkowski, President Lehman, and members of the board. My name is Gabriela Moreno. I'm a math GED teacher at the Adult Continuing Education program. I'm here accompanied by some of my fellow teachers. We are here tonight to share with you some thoughts about adult continuing education. My fellow colleagues and I take great pride in being teachers at the Adult Learning Center. The Adult Continuing Education GED program plays an important and vital role by allowing individuals in our community to prepare for and earn their GED. It is a role that we, as teachers, take very seriously, providing knowledge, guidance, and support for the adult learners. For many of the adults in the adult continuing education programs, it is an opportunity to get the basic skills they need to be productive workers, family members, and citizens. At Adult Continuing Education, the staff works closely together to help these learners be successful in reaching their goals. Although Adult Continuing Education has been without leadership since January 2006, we have worked diligently to assure that Adult Continuing Education students would continue to receive the best instruction in both GED and ESL classes. The importance of leadership cannot be overstated in an environment such as Adult Continuing Education, where the goal is that every adult learner will achieve in their selected program. The administrator should be knowledgeable about adult education and demonstrate commitment to program goals and objectives. After the administrator vacancy was posted, we were informed that approximately 20 applicants had applied. Some of the teachers, including myself, were asked to serve on the interview committee, but we were never again contacted. We had hoped that all qualified applicants would be given an opportunity to interview for the position and that the best applicant will be selected. In addition, the administrator for Adult Continuing Education is designated as the chief examiner for the BISD GED Testing Center. Thus, it is vital that Texas Education Code 7.111 rules be followed pertaining to school district testing centers. This rule stipulates that the chief examiner must be a certified counselor. Our community needs the GED Testing Center, and we would not want any violation to cease its operation. We ask you, Dr. Solkowski, and members of the board, to please allow us to assist in the selection of the new administrator for Adult Continuing Education Center and postpone tonight's decisions for this position. Should you decide this evening to approve the recommendation, we will respectfully ask the new selected administrator to meet with us this week to discuss our program goals and our concerns. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Moreno. Now there is Deborah Hernandez, and I believe, Counselor, this is what you're alluding to. So,
It will be placed on the next board meeting for executive session.
okay. So there is a paragraph here stating that there is a complaint against an officer, or in this case, a employee of the district. So,
I'm Ms. Hernandez's spokesman.
so I'm going to caution you that any comments you make, if I see them or deem them that they're against,
Mr. Lehman, he has gone on the record. Policy calls for us to put him on the next
okay,
board
but
meeting.
he's standing. So I just want to make I want to due process. I want to make sure that you're in agreement. Would you like to make a statement at this time?
More of an inquiry.
Okay.
I would like to ask if item number 37 is to be tabled tonight in light of the fact that this item is to be placed on next agenda for the school board.
Item 37 is on the agenda. It is on for discussion. That's all I can tell you at this time.
I was given an assurance by the district attorney that that would not be taken up this evening.
At this time, I am going to refer it to legal because I don't think this is the format to discuss.
Mr. Lehman, he has a complaint, and he's
Right,
indicated that it's against an employee of the district. BED policy requires us to put him on the next board meeting for executive
So
session.
that's what you're requesting at this time?
Well, I'm requesting that, but the fact of the matter is that we were denied administrative relief. That's the reason why we're here tonight, to hopefully prevent item 37 from being discussed without having due process obtained as we had the right back when this matter came up and was filed by my client on March 7th.
At this point, all I can tell you is that you will be placed on the next agenda, and you can grieve in closed doors, I believe, or that would be the...
Make his complaint against the public official identified there at the next regularly scheduled board meeting in executive session.
Correct.
And
That's-
what day would that be, please, Mr. President?
What would be our next schedule? The 18th? July 18th.
Okay, thank you very much, and we'll be back
You
on
will
that
be
date.
put on the docket for the July 18th meeting to go into executive session to discuss your concerns.
Thank
Is
you,
that-
sir.
Okay. Next person is Mr. George Borrego, miscellaneous concerns.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Z, administrators, and everybody that's here. One of the first things that I wanted to discuss was the insurance committee meeting on Thursday for Mutual of Omaha to be discussed. I imagine that's what we're going to have on the agenda. If we're going to be planning any kind of changes, we already have a contract that can be renewed. And anything that could happen during the summer would not include the employees of the school district for their plan. If there's something that needs to be addressed, it should be done this coming year at the appropriate time around April to start things going when we have the insurance committee gathered, because right now they're all over the country. Or at least I hope they're enjoying themselves all over the country. So please don't mess with our insurance just yet until next year, and let's see what happens. Item number 2, our pay raises. I have been getting congratulations from all the teachers that I run across who recognize me because we got them the $5,000 raise. I'm a hero. Please don't take my hero status away. Please. If you break it down, all we're asking is for $1,900. The Pat Lehman raise is going to be here forever, or as long as Pat is up there, I'm sure. Or Mr. Lehman, I'm sorry. The $2,000 is coming from the state. So all we're asking is the additional $1,914 to make it $5,000. We're also asking 10% for the paraprofessionals for classified. Let's do it across the board this year, and next year, I promise, cross my heart, not to complain about the midpoint next year. I promise. And 5% for administration. This is the year that we can do it. Austin is sending down some money. And by the way, I talked to Lucio's office and Oliveira's office, and they assured me that the money is going to be there from now on. Not even the Republicans want to commit political suicide by taking that money back. So it'll be there. This is the time for BISD to shine. This is the time for this board to unanimously praise our employees with a decent pay raise. If next year it can't be, then that's okay. But this year we got it. Let's go for it, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Borrego. Next person is John Clark, miscellaneous.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, Dr. Zakowski. My name is John Clark. I'm a teacher at Porter, and I'm president of the Brownsville Classroom Teachers Association, a new organization that's been a new chapter of long-existing state organization that's been formed here in Brownsville. I also would like to speak about a local contribution to teacher raises this year. In discussions earlier this year, in meetings with Dr. Zalkowski and Mr. Sanchez, they mentioned the numbers 17 and 1800, not as offers, but as something that was possible for the teachers. Nothing has changed financially since that time, so it's my understanding that those numbers are still possible. This is a year when we have $90 million or more in the general fund balance earning interest. This is a year we have $120 million in certificates of deposit earning interest. This is a year we just passed the bond at $135 million that we will not spend immediately, but we will begin earning interest on in September. That's $120 million, $120 million, $135 million earning interest this year. This is the year the community said yes to this school district. This is the year the community said yes to what the teachers are doing in this school district. This is the year this district wisely took care of its future enrollment needs. This is a year that we ask you to make a local contribution of $1,800 beyond the state pass-through raise to your teachers this year. This is the year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. That concludes the portion of the public comment period. We now go on to item 9, closed meeting as pursuant to the Texas Government Code, section 5510.074 and 551.082. We go into executive session to hear A, level 3 board review and grievance 5, level 3 grievance 1 Francisco Arredondo number 005-05/06, and 6, level 3 grievance Maria Cordova.
Mr. Lehman, 6 and 8 have been passed. Is that right, Mr. Pineda?
That is correct, and we're, with your permission, Dr. Z, Mr. Lehman, and members of the board, if we can reschedule that for July the 18th meeting.
6, level, okay, we'll see, yes, but 6, the grievance, we will be postponing that one?
Yes, sir, with your permission.
So we'll just do 5 and 7.
Okay. Okay, so going back, a closed meeting as pursuant to the Texas Government Code, section 551.074 and 551.082. We go into A, level 3 board review and grievance, 5, level 3 grievance to hear 1 Francisco Arredondo number 005-05/06. A, level close, level 3 board review grievance to take up item 7, a board action on level 3 grievance 1 Francisco Arredondo number 005-05/06. Is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I move to grant the level 3 and grant the relief requested and instruct administration to reinstate employee.
Second.
There's a motion to grant the relief sought by the employee and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. Any abstention? I'm sorry, any abstention?
Yes, please let the record show that I did not participate nor vote on this decision because I received the material too late for me to review. But on a side note, I'd like to say that I'm proud of my board members for their decision.
Okay, noted. Motion carries. Move on to consent agenda item number Roman numeral 10. I have received a list from my colleagues indicating that there is no need for discussion or deliberation on the following agenda items. Under A, recommend approval of the following general function items. Items 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Under B, recommend approval of the following payments. Item 14, item 15. Under C, recommend approval of the following budget amendments. Item 16. Under D, recommend approval of the following bids. Item 17. Under E, recommend approval of the following requests for proposals, RFQs. Item 19. Item 21. Under F, recommend approval of the following requests for proposals. I'm sorry, those are not consent. Under closed meetings, A, personnel matters, items 24, 30, 31, 33, 34. 35 has been pulled. Is there a motion to approve the consent item as read? Motion? There is a motion by Dr.
Second.
Escobar. There's a second. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Move on to discussion of item E, recommend approval of the following requests for proposals RFQs, and we will also take F, recommend approval of the following requests for proposals RFPs at the same time. I'll read number 18 under E, recommend approval of RFQ number 05-174 to accept the negotiated fee with Drash Consulting Engineering Incorporated, FAR, Texas, not to exceed $15,725 to provide materials testing services for the transportation satellite station project. And item F22, recommend approval of award RFP number 06-118 to GNP Paving Company, Brownsville, Texas, for construction services for the transportation satellite station project in the amount not to exceed $2,082,451. Project subject to the district's needs and funding. We'll take up discussion. Mr. Munoz.
Thank you, Mr. President. The reason I requested that we combine 18 and 22 or certainly discuss them prior to making the motions, any motions to approve or whatever, is because if we were to choose to not perform 22, we certainly wouldn't need 18 at this point in time. So I'll just get on with item 22. And 22 is an item presented by the administration recommending we approve a contract for $2,082,000 and change for the construction of a satellite station for the district. This is a bus transportation satellite station for the district. The board previously approved to go forward with this, and I won't question that. What I feel the situation is here is that we have an opportunity at this point in time to perhaps save the district a lot of money. And what has transpired since the onset of this project, which Dr. Zolkowski recommended over a year ago, and at that point in time we were looking at an estimated cost of under $1 million. And I felt like that was a gross underestimate, and consequently it certainly is. I'm looking at probably, with 18 and 22, combined, we're looking at nearly $2,100,000. And that's not inclusive of the price, the value of 7 acres of land that we would pave over, prime commercial property on Southmost Road, which could be put back on the tax rolls since it's obviously surplus to educational purposes. So the value of this project to the district certainly, and then plus the facilities that we're going to move there and so forth. I see we're easily into the $2.6 million for this project. So when I said opportunity knocks, in the interim period, we have had an opportunity, or we have an offer to purchase 19-acre tract of property at the airport from the city of Brownsville for under $4 million. Now, in the interim period, we have had a situation also in that the warehouse on Rockwell Drive is probably also going to have to be demolished or relocated, and I don't know if it'd even be worth relocating it. But nevertheless, we are in need of warehousing space. The warehouse behind this building formerly was a lumber company, and it's still a tin building and quite not very well suited to our needs, environmentally and other ways. So we are bursting at the seams, and we do need new warehousing. We have been offered a 19-acre tract with 150,000 square feet of environmentally controlled building. This building is at the airport. It's located on Billy Mitchell Boulevard and Kalunga Drive in Iowa. Has close proximity to the southmost area, close proximity to the El Jardín area. It's very well located for the district to utilize as a warehousing facility or anything else. But what we could do if when you consider the value of the and I say opportunity knocks, when you consider the value of or the cost, the total cost, and even when I say $2.6 million, that's probably an underestimate. But if you were to apply that money to the purchase price of the airport facility, a 3.5-acre building plus 19 acres of prime property, we're more than 60% of the way to purchasing the property. In addition to that, a few months ago I asked administration about the warehousing behind us here on Price Road, and I was told that it would soon need a new roof, which was estimated to cost somewhere in the range of $2 million. So we're already talking $4.5 million, and we don't want to spend $2 million on the old warehouse here on Price Road. I think everyone, administration, we all know that we need new warehousing. So if we were to purchase the airport property, we would be able to vacate a lot of the use here on this facility and open it up to other use. One thing that comes immediately to mind is we'd probably be able to construct a traffic loop out of here and not just have Price Road to enter and exit on. We could probably put a loop in and use Paredes Road for traffic circumstances, so that would improve. But with the availability of the airport property and the opportunity that it provides us, I feel like it would be a mistake to commit to this project and literally destroy the 7 acres on Southmost Road. With the purchase of the airport property, certainly by the end of this summer, by the start of next year, we could have our satellite bus facility in place at the airport. It consists of a 6 or 8 or probably 10 acres of security fenced enclosure with partial concrete ramps and heavy-duty paving, and the paving's in pretty good shape. Plus about 11 high-security light standards that are in place. So it'd be a great facility. In my opinion, it's a better location for the bus satellite bus barn. Plus, we could have it in use by the end of this summer. Then, at that point in time, what I would recommend that we do is we do a pilot study and assemble the costs and the savings, if there are any savings, of relocating a set number of vehicles to that satellite area. And then at the end of a year, we can determine whether or not we want to either keep it there or move it to another location, or perhaps move it back to the Bastedo area. So I think there is nothing lost in postponing this, and I'm going to make a motion to postpone this decision for number 22, item 22, which would make item 18 moot. So I really believe that there are some advantages here. There are some needs of the district. The district's desperately in need of warehousing space, and this 150,000-foot warehouse with a controlled environment, offices, cafeteria, parking, the whole works, will serve the district for many, many years. So on that note, unless someone has some other arguments they'd like to entertain, I can either make a motion at this point in time or...
I'll open it up for discussion since this is the discussion period for these two items, 18 and item 22. Any other comments from board members? Dr. Escobedo?
I'd just like clarification. If 22 is postponed, how is 18 affected?
18, Dr. Escobedo, 18 is the cost of the testing for the placement of the concrete and site preparation. So
I understand that, but my question is more of the parliamentary procedure.
We would take a vote on it, Dr. Escobedo.
Individual.
Yeah, we will take 18 and then 22. Correct, my colleague, and you are correct. Further comments? Okay, yes, sir.
I just had
Mr.
a
Coloma.
question from the administration. What is the cost comparison, or what has been the rationale for the selection of the present location?
Mr. Gonzalez?
Dr. Sokowski, Mr. Lehman, members of the board. Could you repeat the question?
On what Mr. Munoz had mentioned, the option for another property that would be better suited. How would that option compare to the present location being recommended for the agenda item 22?
Okay.
Location.
Yes, sir. Mr. Colunga, members of the board, certainly be up to Dr. Sokowski to give us some guidance on this, but we certainly have to do a study on that other property and see what it costs and what would be, I think on the lines of what Mr. Munoz said, what would it take to upgrade it and see and do a study on it. I have not spoken with any individual concerning direct price or anything on this, so we would have to start negotiations with that and see where that would go and bring it to the board certainly for approval if that's what it is. And if there's some steps involved in that, to give you a direct answer comparison, I couldn't do that right now until I got a full detail over there and maybe even hire a consultant engineer to look at it and see where it's structurally sound and so on and so forth. Certainly would not recommend something to the board that I wasn't comfortable with at that particular time.
Thank you, Mr. Yes, sir.
What I neglected to mention, and I would like to add, is that this property, and we have looked at it, this property, the must sell, is my understanding, it must sell at appraised value. And the city has had it appraised. Whether or not that we would accept that appraisal, I don't know the legalities of that, but the GSA, General Services Administration, the military, whoever has a hold on this, has agreed to let them sell it outright. So that's a unique situation in that we would have access to such a valuable piece of property. But the costs, in my mind, if you were to ignore the value of the 19 acres of land, 3 or 4 acres of which the building is sitting on, if you were to do it that way, it's somewhere in the range of $26 a square foot. If you were to give $100,000 an acre value to the land, your cost drops down to $20 a square foot. To put that in perspective, we're not building anything in the district for under $100 a square foot. So I think that this is a tremendous opportunity. Plus, in addition to that, it's opportune and different things are happening at the same time. The Rockwell Drive warehouse we know that we've committed to building a wing at Perez Elementary, so we're going to need that property fairly soon. And that's going to put us in a bind to displace whatever we have there. And as I said earlier, we're bursting at the seams here behind us at the old lumber yard. So I can see where this solves a lot of our problems very quickly and perhaps saves millions of dollars in the transportation area alone.
Yes, sir,
Yeah.
Mr. Power.
Yeah, Ms. Lehman. Dr. Z, now I hate to delay more projects, what we've been doing. We have discussed this thoroughly. Now, I know we need a satellite at Southmost. I like the idea. Now, y'all did a presentation at the facility meeting, and then you did a presentation to the board. And I know about the property that Mr. Munoz is speaking about, and then y'all inspected the property. Has there been any changes in regards to why we want to change now, after we had said we wanted to go forward?
To answer your question, Mr. Powers, part of the reasons why it did cost is because we insisted on concrete. We could have done asphalt and repave it every 2 or 3 years, but you're going to put heavy buses. Regardless of where you put this south, you're going to need concrete, or you're going to be paving. It'll be like the Dana property road where there's holes, and the buses, we're there every 2 years. And so we went with concrete, and concrete went up over a year's time. That's really where your big cost increase was. It's a lot cheaper a long time ago. And Mr. Gonzalez and I agree, regardless of where this thing goes, you're going to need concrete to get buses in and out because of the weight of those and being parked there. But the original study I did bring because a district this size should probably have 2 satellites, if not 3. You have over 100 buses that pick up on Dana Road, and they ride across town with nobody on them. They stop at all the lights, and then they finally get to the south side and they run routes. We'll be able to have our drivers report over there, do quicker routes, wear and tear on the bus. I mean, less gas. It's a savings. Now, how much? It'll take a while to pay for itself, but our last estimate was 2 or 3 years because of the number of buses. But we have not, and I did go look at the airport property. I think there's some problems with the pavement. Of course, there's problem. We don't have any pavement over the 7 acres. The one concern our staff had, Mr. Gonzalez's staff had, was the height of the building because of warehouse space. It was more of a height problem because that was a sewing shop or Levi shop or something. I don't know what it was. But anyway, the ceiling, the height of the ceiling because of our forklifts and different things like that. So that may be a problem, it may not. But we're just trying to get the south end because of the cost of gas to try to save some money by next year.
So basically, I mean, y'all have done all the feasibility studies on this. So by putting it in that area, we're going to save anywhere. We'll get our money back in 2 to 3 years just on gas savings alone on the mileage. That's what I figured, 3 years.
Your wear and tear on your buses, the cost of your drivers being on the time clock, riding across town, that's eliminated. There's a lot of things that go the other way, and you probably within 5 years need a satellite north.
And this has the approval of Hector Chininos, in charge of the bus department?
Yes, Hector and both Hectors worked on this, right, Mr. Gonzalez?
They're happy. I mean, I just don't want to start delaying projects. I mean, I know, Munoz, you got a valid point, but, I look at it this way, if this and bus are canning us, we all have a Merry Christmas. These guys done their homework, unless you know something we don't know, but they done their homework. I hate to start delaying things.
Maybe, let me just say, no, they haven't done their homework. That's the problem, Mr. Powers.
How do you know?
Because it's millions of dollars that are going into that area. And I think my colleague here made a very strong argument. Let me just tell you, common sense. The property's been vacant for 2 years. We haven't even asked if we can at least borrow it or use it as a pilot project for our buses. We can put our buses right now as we speak, and they haven't done it. So test it. Now, as far as buses being heavy, those buses are not being utilized by the students. They're empty, number one. But unless you do an assessment, and if I hear Mr. Gonzalez correctly, are you requesting one, or are you advising this board to do one before we even move into it?
First of all, if this motion doesn't pass to put the south bus satellite there, then we need to look at some other options. The board did approve to go forward with this project, is why we've been bothered bidding it, and we've done all the testing. If we come back with a separate project, then we'll have to do an assessment and see what alterations we need to make.
Have you, Dr. Solkowski, even bothered to call the city as to utilizing the facility at the airport on a rental month-by-month basis to even utilize it, even try it, pilot it, and not make the mistake of saying, you know what, we should have. I don't think it would cost us that much at all. At the same time, do a feasibility assessment study on that property or on the building itself. It's 150,000 square feet of usable space. Whether it has height, it has length. But to spend $2 million plus on concrete where you already have it in a facility that you can displace 5 divisions, 5 departments, utilize the centralized location to the benefit of the district, where in the long run, this is a 30-year project in the making, or in the visionary's standpoint. To this building is not just for immediate fix to whether it's going to work. Different divisions. You can put your book depository. You can put records. You can put maintenance. You can put PD. You can have a satellite clinic that I would like to see. Satellite PD. You can have the bus. So right there, you displace facilities that we are in need of at a minimal cost. Especially the taxpayer is going to love it because they're saving money. But not to incorporate, not to even bring in the city of Brownsville into a possibility of contracting or borrowing the facility on a trial basis and see if it'll work. To answer, we don't need to wait until summer or next August or September. We can do it right now. We could have done it last month, 3 months ago, just simply by asking. And the facilities are there. We can even pilot the project. Dr. Scoville?
Yes, thank you. Well, there is a motion on the table which I'm going to second, but I know Council's been fairly quiet. For future reference, I would prefer to discuss property and prices under real property in closed session. The more the city thinks we want it, the less they're going to want to negotiate.
Oh, Doctor, thank you for reminding me. I talked to Congressman Ortiz, and this property might not even cost us anything. There's money available. So, no, Mr. Powers, we haven't done our homework. So to leave money on the table, and thank you very much. I knew I had something else, and I put down Ortiz for something. I was in the school.
Mr. Lehman, with all due respect, so you're saying administration didn't do their job?
No, sir. You made a comment, and I said no. You said they did. So I'm just saying I think we need to do an assessment. And let me remind you. I'm glad you reminded me again. The BAC. You thought it was you didn't agree with the project. The Brownsville Academic Center.
But I voted for it.
Well, but you disagreed because it was a cost of money, and I don't know. We need to find out. But what I'm saying is I don't want to make a mistake here that is not. It's an unnecessary expense of $2 million, something that originally started $1 million, $1.3 million, $1.5 million, $2 million now, $2.5 million. It's when these are pluses right here. There's a gift horse being presented, and we're not taking it.
No, I agree. Mr. Munoz brought up valid points at a facility meeting, but not one of us here started to question all the issues that were involved, and we had them go inspect the airport property. They sent a team of 8 or 10 people there, and all of a sudden they're all wrong. And
Because
I know you've been against me, so I respect you for that point. Then all of a sudden now we, the board, say, you know what, we don't want to do it now. So, I mean, where do we draw the line, guys? I mean, I don't know. I just think that if we need a project satellite station someplace, let's just do it, and let's stop handpicking where we put it. You build it, they will come.
And I don't want to spend $2 million, Mr. Powers. I would like to entertain that we talk to the city of Brownsville and spend nothing. That's not being frugal. That's not being, responsible to the taxpayers. And I'm just saying, if time is of the essence, we can negotiate with the city. I'd be more than happy. I think they'd be very receptive because they haven't done anything for 2-3 years with that property, and they would probably take $1, $2, $3, whatever it may take. But not $2 million, Mr. Powers, to find out that we've made a mistake. I'm sorry. We can pilot this project as it is, as we speak, at the airport location with the city of Brownsville's blessing. And I think this is prudent. This is common sense. Anyway, further comments?
Just in comment to what my colleague said, that it would be paid for in 2.5 years. We don't know that, and I requested a cost benefit analysis, which we've never received. So when I suggested that we consider this a pilot project for a year, we would know. We would keep the records and we would know. And I don't question that we will need a pilot, a satellite facility, and Dr. Zolkowski is probably correct. The way the district is growing to the north, and we go way north, people don't realize how far the district goes, we will probably need a northern satellite at some point in time. But certainly we have the opportunity now to find out just what the effectiveness is and what the cost. There's a lot of hidden costs with this. I've looked at the specs, the specifications of the paving out there. Some of it is 6-inch concrete on top of 6-8-inch crushed compacted limestone, and the rest is 6-inch asphaltic concrete. So it's very well paved and very well drained. So I see no problem in using that facility. As far as fuel and so forth is concerned, we can probably cut a deal with the bus people right across the street. The City of Brownsville's urban transportation system is right across the street on Kalunga Drive. You can hit it with a rock. Go out our gate, and you can go in their gate, and we could probably fuel our vehicles there and have fuel delivered to them, and it's just a paper transfer. I don't think they'd have any problem working with us on that. So we wouldn't have to spend a lot of money on fueling facilities and contamination and all that sort of thing, whereas we're going to spend, I think, hundreds of thousands of dollars on a fueling facility once we decide to do something. So we have to stay flexible. Because we decided something 6 months ago, it doesn't mean that situations don't change, and situations have changed. We have new needs that have come to our attention, and we have the ability right now to respond to those changes. And I think we'd be foolish not to, just to say that, well, we approved it, we have to do it. No. We're thinking individuals, and we're responsible, and I think it would be irresponsible to go forth with this other project as it is. This location, certainly, I don't think anyone can argue that this location, from a geographic standpoint, is a better distribution location, a better location than the Southmost Road location at Bastedo School. You only have 180 degrees of service area here, whereas here you have 360 degrees. So I just don't see any reason to go forward when we have this opportunity that's presented itself to us, and the other things that have happened to us with Rockwell and other things. So I would like to move that we indefinitely amend the motion to indefinitely postpone at board discretion.
Dr. Solkowski.
That's fine. I want to say that the only reason why we brought this issue was because I believe Mr. Munoz is correct. 6 months ago, this project was approved by this board, and so we bid it out and brought it. And yes, it may have been too high or too low, but that was the direction we took 6 months ago, and that's why we haven't been looking for a backup place, because this board said, yes, we want that, we want to do it there. We bid it out, we brought it. So in defense of my administration, for the last 6 months, we thought we were going there.
And I'll say, and I haven't touched on it tonight, looking at the costs of the two submittals, and I'm sorry there are only two submittals. Nothing to say about the two submittals, other than that, in my opinion, they're quite high. We've seen another player in the paving field recently, and we saved several $100,000 under the bids of the normal people that usually do this sort of work. So I personally believe, and that's not the topic tonight, but I personally believe that were I just voting on item 22, the value of the contract, I think that it's too high. Certainly I'd want to check the prices. My personal opinion, I haven't opened the books. I'm a little rusty on some of the values of the unit rates, but I believe they're a little bit high.
Further comments?
One quick one.
Yes, sir, Mr. Powers.
I know administration did inspect the airport property. What's going to change by going back again?
Save a lot of money.
I know, but they said no the first time. What's going to change when they go back again?
We save a lot of taxpayers' money.
But that's not what they said 6 months ago. I mean, Well, y'all do what y'all want to do.
It's, Mr. Powers, I think it was just preference, and that's you just made the point and contradicted Dr. Solkowski. We did study it, and administration is bent on spending $2 million on concrete, bottom line, and infesting southmost area and that area with congested traffic buses. Can you imagine how many buses are we going to have out there? 100 buses? Can you imagine all leaving at the same time? Coming back at the same time, I don't think it's prudent, this is just technically or basically the administration's staunch position in not wanting to do the right thing, in my opinion, and yeah, things have changed. Utilization needs have changed. It's a travesty not to even consider talking to the city of Brownsville, Mr. Powers, when we don't know what they might say.
How do you know they did not talk to the city of Brownsville?
Well, Dr. Solkowski, have you talked to the city of Brownsville?
I don't know if my staff has, but I have a response.
Well, if you don't know, I don't think, well.
I wouldn't do that, maybe Hector.
How did they check the airport? That's the.
We went and checked the airport, but here again, we were told to bring this project back. This board voted to bring this project back to themselves, so we brought it back. Now, it is a little high, but it's concrete. You do asphalt, we can cut it quite a bit. You'll be redoing it every 3 years. My point is that this whole board agreed, I don't know if it was unanimous, but this board agreed to bring this project back, so we brought it back, and it is a little high. But that was our job, that was our mission, so we had to bid it out, we had to do, we tested the soil, we did the whole thing that we had to do to bring this back. So if this is not going to be the location, or if this is on hold, then we may need to look at some other options. But we brought it back because this board said, bring it back to us, we want to bid it, we want to see it.
But you could have made the recommendation to look at the other property. You did not. That's the issue
right.
That's before us. Anyway.
The board agreed on this.
Mr. Aguilar, go ahead.
Yes, and I kind of agree with the superintendent that we did agree on on this project, and we're not against a satellite project, Mr. Powers. I personally believe that perhaps when we ask that this new area in the airport be studied and give us the recommendations, I personally believe that we were not given enough information. So, I disagree with Mr. Gonzalez that we didn't come with information. You all did. In fact, I can remember when you say we have to pave X number of acres to fulfill the transportation. In my mind, later on, I said, you know what? There was just not a full-scale information what Dr. Square is talking about. And we're not against any or in favor of Mr. Munoz or what can we do a serious study and come back again and say, look, we did what you asked us to do, the airport site, and you already have the southmost area satellite location. And perhaps now, since it's $2 million, it's more than we had agreed on at the very beginning. I mean, it's just, and I can understand why the increase of prices. Why can we go back and say, look, we'll do the study, and we also look at instead of concrete, use the other kind of materials, see where we're at this point. So definitely, I'm going to ask for a postponement of this project.
And I wish, and that's a very good point, Mr. Aguilar, and talk to the city. Maybe they will allow us to do a pilot project.
Do a study. I mean, the
Yeah.
kind of involved
And we
the
can
city of Brownsville.
We can actually have our buses already operational on a temporary
Yeah,
basis.
but at least make the
Right.
make
I
the
agree with
efforts, a sincere effort.
We'll do a study.
Further comments? Otherwise, Mr. Munoz, then you have. We'll take item 18. You want to make a motion?
Motion to indefinitely postpone at board discretion.
Item 18.
Item 18.
Is there a second to postpone indefinitely at the board's discretion, number 18?
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against? 2, same sign. Motion carries. We'll take now item 22F. 22, recommend approval of the following request proposals, RFPs. Recommend approval to award RFP number 06. I didn't read the other one, did I? Recommend approval to award RFP number 06-118 to GNT Paving Company, Brownsville, Texas, for construction service for the Transportation Satellite Station Project in the amount not to exceed $2,082,451, project subject to district needs and funding. Mr. Munoz, you had a motion on that, or you want to make a motion?
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to also move to indefinitely postpone item 22.
Okay, there's a motion to indefinitely postpone item 22 at the board's discretion, although, second?
I'll second.
There's a motion, a second, to postpone indefinitely at the board's discretion, item 22. All those in favor signify by raising your hand and saying aye. All those against? Same sign, 2 against, motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, there we go. Get my bearings back. Yes, sir. Under E, recommend approval of the following requests for proposals, RFQs. Item 20, recommend approval, RFQ number 05-174 to accept the negotiated fee with Professional Services Industries Incorporated, Harlingen, Texas, not to exceed $4,292.50 to provide materials testing services for the Vermilion Elementary School Library Addition Project. Is there a motion to approve?
Move. I'll second.
There's a motion to approve item 20. Discussion, Mr. Munoz.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. This item, I'm wondering if there's some confusion here because this is for the Vermilion Elementary Library. This library, by my estimate, is probably around 70% complete. They're billing us for 62% as of the end of the month. So I know that we have been testing. We have tested the foundation, we have tested the grout, and so on and so forth. So why is this? Is this just a mistake that we didn't approve testing and it's been done and we're going to make it right, or because this is a contract to approve testing? It's too late for them. Right. If they haven't been doing it, it's too late. Yeah. Someone's been doing it. I know someone has.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank you, Dr. Z. Mr. Lehman, members of the board. To answer your question, Mr. Munoz, yes, we did give them a verbal to go ahead and continue testing because testing is needed. What we needed to do was agree on the price, and we did, but they need to put it to us in writing, and they had delayed in sending us what we needed in writing. We sort of asked them and asked them and asked them, and certainly we'll take that into consideration in case they're listening, that when they do their RFQs, that they need to submit their stuff in a timely manner so we can bring it to you in a timely manner. But yes, the construction needed to go on, and we needed to test, and we had agreed to what we consider a very fair price on it. Just the company hadn't submitted their stuff to us.
May I ask a question? Just what percent of the construction price is this running?
What percent of the construction price?
Yes.
Oh God, I don't know. It's very
small.
Minute.
Less than 1%.
Oh yes. I think this project was about $750,000, and their price is only $4,292. So it's a very small percentage.
I don't have any problem with the price. Right. It's just that this is administrative fix.
Yes.
Okay. Additional comments? There's a motion, a second, to approve item 20. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimous. Item 23, recommend approval to award RFP number 06-117 to JDS Construction Company, Incorporated, Weslaco, Texas, for construction services for the Falk and Stell Classroom Wing Addition project in the amount not to exceed $8,227,066. Project to be done subject to the district's needs and funding. Is there a motion to approve?
Move.
There's a motion to approve item 23. Is there a second? Second. There's a second. Discussion. Let's go with Ms. Galvan. I'll give you.
Yeah, on page 169. They are going to be changing the following projects to reduce construction costs. Item number 4, eliminate all marker boards, chalkboards, tack boards from both Falk and Stell. Also, they're eliminating the landscaping and irrigation. Page 170.
Right.
The fire sprinkler. They're going to change it?
No.
They're going to have a cost savings on a fire sprinkler. Right. And my question is, will we totally be eliminating these, or we're just looking at a cheaper way of paying for this?
You know, when this thing came in, Hector and I both passed out, and then we opened the bids again because it's a real lot of money. But you're talking about 2 new wings, 18 classrooms, 12 with a library. Each one gets a new library, and a lot of these are science rooms, if you'll notice. And we're replacing 2 whole wings. And you say, well, 8 million is kind of like almost a new school. Well, this is 72,000 square feet. It's a very large project, and it did come in high. But when you do science, plus Hector reminded me of something that I'd forgotten, is that when we had this meeting, the facility committee meeting, I believe, said y'all need to get with the principals, make sure they get everything that they need in these. And so we did sit down with the principals, and they didn't leave anything out. And so the cost of these projects did increase when you do science labs, and you go ahead and do a whole new library in both wings. Anything else, Mr. Gonzalez? Am I correct on that?
You do need chalkboards.
And chalk.
If I
Go ahead, please, Hector.
Thank you, Dr. Sokolowski, Mr. Lehman, members of the board. To answer your questions on the chalkboards, we can buy them a lot cheaper than they can, so that we can save on that. $100,000 credit on the landscaping. We have a full-time landscaping crew that Dr. C put in place, and we can do that probably at half the cost. So that's cost savings to the district, and I'm trying to be as frugal as I can, trying to find ways to save some money. And the credits for the fire sprinkler, we're not eliminating the sprinkler system, that's for sure. We talked it over with Joe Don Scoggins, and he was the owner of JDS, and said, give us better prices, go back to your subs, find money. So item 7 and item 8 is strictly credit, that he was able to get better prices on us. This is why it's a proposal and not a bid. And we worked with him, and he was able to get better prices for us, and that was a real cost savings. So even though those are the real true cost savings, it will cost us some money to buy the marker boards, but we can get them out of startup funds or whatever at a lot better price. And he's agreed to install them at no cost. We provide the marker boards. He's going to install them. And as far as the landscaping, I know Ray and his crew can go to town real fast. And you see what they did at Central already, and it'll save us a lot of money.
Well, one additional comment. If we miss this opportunity tonight, we wait a year to pull this, to go back to this. Plus, we have 6th grade being moved to Clearwater from Falk. We have a lot of things in progress, and I'm saddened that we only had one bid. But tonight we really need to take action on this item. Either we go forward with these 2 wings or we don't. But we've got a lot of people working, moving people around, and we may have to go back. So we would ask for action one way or the other from this board.
And if I may add, Dr. Z, it also includes the demolition of the wings in here. It's not just construction costs. We're
That's
demolishing and removing everything of those 2 places. So that's included in the price.
We've actually moved the portables from TLC close to Stell so that we could all keep everybody on one campus. And so everything is in place for this project.
May I ask a question, and I'll get you. What's the total square footage on these 2 projects?
Hector, wasn't it 72?
It's 71,000. It's 71,794 square feet for both of them. Almost 72,000 square feet. It comes out to about $114 square foot. And we compared that to other schools that are being bid out, just for your information. We did do our research on that one. And 4 elementaries in the Upper Valley are coming in at between $133 and $135 square foot. And a couple of elementaries that were bid up a little earlier or came in at 105 square foot. So we're right in target. That's what the construction is going on now in the valley.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes, my questions have already been asked. The square footage, when I first saw the $8.2 million, I was kind of shocked. But now that I hear it's nearly 72,000 square feet and $114 a square foot, my second question was, what were the demolition costs? Are they broken out on that estimate?
If I may, Dr.
I'd like to subtract those from the 8 million and determine what the square footage is.
I did look at Adam. I believe it's 45,000 per school, something like that, to demolish and move out.
So we're looking at probably $110 or less a square foot.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think, I personally think it's a very good price, and obviously we agree with the time is of the essence for these 2. So I think it's good. We need to go with it.
We just feel it's a project we need to do.
I have a follow-up. Any further questions from my colleagues? I have a follow-up question. What about carpet, since that is dear to me?
Yeah.
So, what's been engineered?
In the libraries.
And where else?
The library.
It's middle school.
So we've valued engineered this baby?
Oh, yes.
I guess we did. Okay, good.
We didn't take the elevator out.
I didn't take the elevator out.
Elevators are remaining in there.
Elevator stayed in this
No
time.
carpet in the elevator, great. Further questions, comments? Okay, there's a motion and a second to approve item 23. All those in favor signify by saying aye or raising your hand.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimous. Item Roman numeral 11, closed meeting, as pursuant to the Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, 551.082, and 551.084. Board goes into executive session to hear personal matters. Another issue.
We can discuss.
Board reconvenes after closed meeting to take personnel matters. Number 25, recommend approval of term contractual personnel for the 2006-2007 school year. Assistant principal subject to the receipt of all outstanding documentations. Is there a motion?
Move.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, item 26, recommend approval of
Mr. President, I'd like to move to table items 26, 27, 28, 29, and 32.
Okay, items 26, 27, 28, 29, and 32. Okay, let me,
I'll second that.
Okay, wait a minute, let me, there's a motion to table items 26, 27, 28, 29, and 32. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second to table items to 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 32. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hand. All those against, same sign. 3, motion carries. Okay. Move on to item 36, recommend approval of probationary contractual personnel for the 2006-2007 school year. Teachers subject to the receipts of all outstanding documentation. Is there a motion?
So move.
Motion to approve item 36. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there a second? Motion and second to approve item 36. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye.
Aye.
All those against, motion carries unanimous. Item 37, recommend to approve the proposed discharge of a continuing contract employee for good cause, DH. Is there a motion to approve? Motion.
I'll second.
There's a motion. Is there a motion?
What item?
Item 37.
Oh. No, I'm not.
I'll move.
Okay, there's a motion to approve item 37. Is there a second?
I second.
Motion and second to approve item 37. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Raising your hand.
Aye.
Aye. All those against? Mr. Powers against. Motion carries. Going on to counselor, no attorney consultation, correct? Okay, move on to C, real property, 40. Boy, that's going to be winded. Discussion of possible acquisition of sale of real property. Recommend approval to purchase 80 acres of land, more or less, out of a 3,030.24 acre tract, volume 941, page 29, deed records in shares 1 and 17 of the Espiritu Santo grant in Cameron County, Texas, and being of tracts 6A, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 described in quitclaim deed from Valley International Properties Incorporated to Rio Bravo Properties dated March 1st, 1978, and recorded in volumes 1,117, page 324 of Cameron County Deed Records. Purchase to be made from Rio Bravo Properties Incorporated, seller contingent on an environmental study satisfactory to BISD and contingent upon seller's warranty of good title to the property. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
There is a motion to approve item 40. There's a second. Motion and second. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye.
Aye.
All those against? And one abstention, Peter. I will be abstaining. 601, sir. Yes, sir. Too fast for you, Counselor. Items 12, announcements. 41, Budget Committee meeting to be held on Thursday, June 22nd, 2006 at the Administration Building at 5:30 p.m. Well, it's not on the agenda, but there will be also a, just as a note, there will be an insurance meeting that same day at 4:30. 42, special call board meeting to be held on Tuesday, June 27, 2006, at the Administration Building at 5:30 p.m. Item 43, next scheduled board meeting on the Board of Trustees is on Tuesday, July 18, 2006, at the Administration Building at 5:30. Is there a motion to adjourn? Oh, anything else, Don? Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
There's a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Raise your hand. Motion carries. Good night.